Hello, it's Big Chads, and this is the Trading Encyclopedia Daily Education series on my YouTube, Chads Trading. Find me on Twitter at Big Chads and Bitcoin Live, where I am a founding analyst. For today's video, we're going to talk about the Stochastics RSI. You can pause and read this on your own, but it's basically a measurement of the RSI to give you buy and sell signals. It's an even really more sensitive version of the RSI. It basically gives you, a measurement of the RSI with a crossing signal. But you can pause and read this, of course, on your own. And I'm going to go ahead and take a look at it for you. So if you go to indicators, you go to technicals, you go down to Stochastics RSI. Now there's another indicator called just Stochastics, which is Stochastics Oscillator. I'll do a video on that as well. That's like even more sensitive than this. Now with Stochastics RSI, you get a lot of these crossing signals. And it looks like RSI. It even looks like the money flow index, right? With your plus 80 and minus 20. Now you've got your overbought levels. You have your oversold levels. This is considered a bounded oscillator because you have a fixed limit at 0 and 100. And you have, these centered as well, centered around 50. And then you have these two lines. So what are they? So the first, let's go to the settings and I'll show you. Pull up the settings, the K and the D line. So the K, the input, you can see what it is. It's a 3-period moving average of the RSI to smooth out that value. And then the D is a 3-period moving average of the K. It's funny how these things work. Who knows how they came up with it. But essentially, you have crossing signals, right? A bearish cross is when the blue line, right, crosses over the orange line or the signal line, and a bullish signal is when it crosses back up above. Now, you can decide if that works well in your system. You're really going to want to combine this with other things, price, recapturing a major level, something like that, other moving averages in the price. In my opinion, there's a very dicey system to use in and of itself, but you can at least understand what it is. All right, so you've got overbought above the 80 and oversold below 20. And then you have the crossing signals. I actually recommend using it similar, to RSI, where you would buy essentially, you'd sell when it leaves overbought, and you would buy when it leaves oversold rather than down here. Because we know the biggest price drops come, when the price enters these zones, you wait for it to leave that zone, right? That's one way to play it, which I think is pretty good. But essentially you have, it's a second order derivative, and you see it says it somewhere here, in the AI overview, right? It's not the price, but it's like a moving average of the RSI, which in and of itself is reflective of the price. It's a second order. It's going to be moving around very quickly. So you get a lot of crossing signals. And then for that reason, I don't really use this indicator. You get a lot of false crossing signals. Get a lot of early divergences, which end up, doing nothing. You're going to have all these really early divergences before the price really does anything. So you can be aware of it. You can know what it is. If it works in your system and you want to combine it with other things, go for it. But you've got overbought, you've got oversold, you've got the signal line, which is the orange line, is the moving average of the blue line, which itself is a moving average, essentially, of the RSI. So this is very far from the price. You have the price, from that you're getting the RSI, and then from that you have this, which is drawing information from the RSI, right? So it's a little bit disconnected from the price. So you should know that if you're going to use it. But that's the Stochastics RSI, and this is for the Trading Encyclopedia Daily Education series on my YouTube at Chads Trading. Find me on Twitter at Big Chads and Bitcoin Live, where I'm a founding analyst. Folks, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Chads out.